everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I am here to introduce you to 2022's pile of self-destructing books. So if you guys are unfamiliar with These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months, it's a video that I make every single year in March where I select 10 books that if I have not read them by the end of a 1-year period, I will be unhauling them. Now the reason that I do this is that I struggle to let go of things. I do form attachments to inanimate objects. Like, don't ask me to get rid of a stuffed animal because it's just not happening. They have feelings, okay? So obviously I have quite a lot of books. I don't need as many books as I have. I'm struggling for space at the minute. There are books that have come to me in various ways, whether I bought them so many years ago that I'm no longer interested, whether I picked them up secondhand on a whim, whether they were sent to me through rep packages or unsolicited ARCs, things like that, that I just really need to cut down some of the books that I know deep down inside that I'm never gonna read. Something else about me is that I don't like to unhaul books without giving them a chance, because even though I do predominantly read fantasy, romance and sci-fi, there are some books like standard contemporary and thrillers that are some of my favorite books of all time. So I don't just like to discount things because they don't sound interesting, because that doesn't mean that they're not actually good. But for this year's round of self-destructing books, we are doing subscription box books only. So I was a rep for Illumicrate for 2 years. I've been a rep for Illumicrate for 2.5 years. I've been a rep for Fairy Loot for over a year now. I've also been working with Book of the Month, and I've also had small rep periods with a ton of smaller book boxes as well. So I get and have gotten a whole ton of subscription box books in the past. And while there are a lot of them that I'm very interested in and really want to read, and some that I've read and loved, I do get the odd one where I'm just like, I don't think this is for me, and I absolutely would not have purchased it if it hadn't come in a subscription box. So we have books from a whole ton of different subscription boxes. I don't know very much about them because they were sent to me in boxes. I read the synopsis at that time, and because they didn't spark an interest, they've kind of just been like put to the side, and they're going on my unhaul cart, and if I haven't read them in 12 months, then I'm going to be unhauling them. But there is no particular order to this, so let's just get started. So the first one is The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. I believe that this one came in an Illumicrate. I'm not really interested in Marie Lu. I have only read one book from Marie Lu, which was the Batman book that she did as part of the DC Icon series. I gave that 2 stars. I really didn't like it, but I do accept that that was kind of not her original work. Like, there's a Sarah J Maas one as well that I don't love, but it's not actually part of like her main body of work, if you know what I mean. I'm just not super interested in many of Marie Lu's books, and the only one that I am really interested in is Warcross. So this one is a historical fantasy about Wolfgang Mozart's sister, who was apparently incredibly talented, but history forgot about her because she was a woman. I'm not really interested in Mozart to start off with. I have actually been to Austria and been to Mozart's house. I do also play violin. I did music at school for a very long time, but classical composers don't really interest me. Music, even though I studied it for a long time and played an instrument, is not something that has ever overly interested me. It's just been something that I have done, and I also don't really like historical books, so I just really don't think this one's for me. We then have The Wild Ones by Nafina Azad. This one came in an Abraxas box, and I do actually think that this one sounds really good. I just think it's more on the side of fabulism than fantasy, and fabulism and magical realism are not my thing. Like, I just cannot get behind it. I do not like it as a genre, so sadly I don't think I'm going to enjoy this one. But this one is about women of color who've had like bad starts in life and also are ignored and forgotten by society, and they gain access to the Between, which is like this magical realm between worlds. Does sound really good. I just really don't think it's for me. The next one is Fable by Adrienne Young. This one was a Fairy Loot book, and it's about a girl who was abandoned on an island full of thieves by her father, and the only thing she wants to do is escape the island, get back to her father and claim her rightful place in his crew, and she enlists the help of a trader to help her do that. Sounds like a pretty standard YA plot, and I actually don't think I love water-based YA fantasy. I do like some books set on water, think like The Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb, but generally speaking, it's not a setting that really appeals to me. I also have The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. This is a YA contemporary romance with the fake dating trope, and it follows a girl who's being hassled by her best friend about not having a boyfriend, so she lies and says that she's got one, and then the captain of the football team, who needs someone to take to prom but is more focused on studying than dating, overhears their conversation and agrees to be her fake boyfriend. I like romance, but I don't really love YA romance. We also have Scavenging the Stars by Tara Sim. This one is an Illumicrate edition, and this one actually seems like it's a little bit more complex than the majority of the others that I have in here, but it follows a girl who saves a man's life, and as a reward for this, he offers her unimaginable riches and a new name and the opportunity to get revenge on this big influential guy in the city. And then we're also following the son of this big influential guy, so one of them is trying to save the family, the other one's trying to take it down. Another Illumicrate edition is A Universe of Wishes by Donielle Clayton. This one is an anthology that I think surrounds wishes and fairy tales. I don't like short stories. We then have Sisters of the Snake by Serena and Sasha Nanua. This one's an Illumicrate edition again, and it's about a princess and an orphan that run into each other and switch places. The really cool thing about this is that it's written by twins, but I'm not overly interested in it. One from Book of the Month, we have The Perishing by Natasha Dion. I held onto this one because it's like a fantasy slash more sci-fi, I guess, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. It is about a young black woman who wakes up in 1930s Los Angeles, and she runs into this guy who's a firefighter, and she's never met him before, but she's dreamt about him and keeps drawing his face. I don't know, it feels like literary sci-fi. I might make sure that I give this a try in the 12 months. Like, it's not the type of sci-fi that I usually enjoy. I like your epic save the universe quests, and this feels more like literary. From Fairly, we have The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. This one is a polar fantasy about a girl who's from a mountain village, but the village was claimed by ice and her family are trapped inside the ice. So she joins a thieves guild with her best friend, and her best friend dies, so she leads an expedition to go back to the mountain and uncover the village or her family, and something dark and mysterious is lurking in the ice. It just doesn't appeal to me. That's just the recurring theme throughout these. Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with them, I'm just not really feeling them. And the one that I think I've had the longest, this is one of my first Illumicrate books, is Sanctuary by V.V. James. This one is a bit of a like cultish thriller, I think. So this one's about the town star quarterback who dies in what is thought to be a tragic accident, but shortly after his death, rumors start flying around because his ex-girlfriend is actually the daughter of a witch. So we have the mother of the quarterback who wants justice for her son, and the mother of his ex-girlfriend who is trying to protect her daughter. Actually sounds kind of interesting. I do enjoy a thriller, and I'm intrigued with the witchy element in here, so I am actually more interested in this one than I am in any of the other books that are in this video, but I've just had it so long and I'm not picking it up, so essentially I'm putting this one on this list so that I actually read the damn book. Okay, so here we have it. Those are 10 subscription box books that are going to self-destruct in 12 months. Please let me know down in the comments which of these books you think I'm actually going to like, or which ones you actually think are going to be worth my time. And throughout the year, because I never get to the full list, I do read some, but I never managed to make it through the entire stack of self-destructing books, so I'll try and prioritize those ones as we go throughout the year. However, what usually happens with this list is I kind of just forget about it, and then the reaction video is always some kind of big surprise. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish Candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.